Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode, episode 3 of Entering the Creative Unknown. And today I am so excited to have my friend Katarina Djordjevic join me today. Katarina is a doll maker and a multidisciplinary artist, and she has been such an inspiration in my own work. So before I bring Katarina in, I just want to read her artist statement. Katerina is a multidisciplinary artist exploring the intersection of creativity, consciousness, and transformation. Her work in creative doll making and lino cut printmaking is deeply rooted in storytelling, ancient traditions, and the power of intuitive creation. She is drawn to symbols, body language, and ancestral wisdom, using them as a visual language to express the inner landscape. Her prints often feature archetypal features, gestural forms, and marks that hold emotional depth. Through her creative doll making that she learned from her mentor, Barb, who is founder of the Healing Doll Way program, she guides others to create dolls that embody their personal stories, emotions, and healing journeys. For her, art is not just about aesthetics, it's a sacred art of connection. It bridges the seen and the unseen, giving shape to emotions that words cannot express. Her workshops are spaces of deep exploration where participants are invited to reconnect with their inner selves through creative play and presence. At the heart of her work is the belief that everyone is an artist and creation is a path to self discovery. She seeks to empower others to trust their hands, their stories, and their unique artistic voice. Through her prints and dolls, she weaves together fragments of past and present, reminding us that even in our wounds, there is fertile ground for beauty and transformation. So, such a beautiful statement from such a beautiful person. And welcome to this conversation. And I think
Hello,
we should just,
everyone.
yeah, hello, everyone. And I think we should just get into it. So I would like to talk about the birth of your creative life.
The birth of my creative life. That was actually a couple of years ago, 5, 6 years ago, where I was actually going through, how they say, the dark time of your soul. So it was like personal and yeah, on many levels, like I was going to some crisis. And at that time, I was really not feeling good. But then I started doodling, and like through that doodle, I don't know, like beautiful kind of patterns and colors. I was like they were emerging, and I was like really stoned by that. Like it really kind of like how to say attract my attention, like to kind of pay more attention into this. And this was something that I was like, how? But I'm like feeling like so bad. But then something beautiful is coming out of me. So yeah. So then I started exploring because all my life I was always thinking like I don't have any talents. Like I am like coming like from the family on both sides, from my mom and father. Like they're very artistic. Everybody, you know. So I was like, I'm the only one that doesn't have any talents. So I was like telling that story to myself that I don't have any talent. But then with this, I started kind of more explore. And few years ago, I kind of went on a journey the artist way, and I had a kind of couple of people that they joined me, and I was kind of guiding this journey together and have a chance really for 12 weeks to kind of explore more deeper and engage with that inner landscape and having that commitment to myself. So I think that was a door for my creativity that started really kind of, yeah, flourishing.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because as you're saying this, I have a similar experience where I never felt like I was artistic, where I always felt like everybody else was doing kind of cool things around me and I didn't really have any of that, but I knew that I had an inner life that was really imaginal. I don't know if that's your similar experience, but I do feel like those of us who came into creativity through maybe exploring the inner landscape, we're at a really big advantage. I feel like people who have like this creative life that have been built around discipline and how to do things a certain way, it's really hard to undo that. It's one thing to like get a ritual and then you kind of have fun, and as you go along, you try things. Have you had that experience yourself?
I agree with this because I find this like when you are artist and when you go through that route, there is like loads of many kind of like I don't know, like put you in a box certain way. But myself as a kind of older in older time, like discovering this creative path, I just don't have those bounds anymore. I'm just like whatever, I'm just exploring, and I don't have this judgmental like I know that I didn't go to the artistic school or whatever, but this actually liberates me because I'm more like a child trying new things and experimenting and finding my own way, which I think artists like, I don't know, like they are in some way maybe limited because like you have to be this way, you have to do this. My mom very often, like she is as well very artistic. She's carving in the wood, but like I can hear from her every time when I show her something like some kind of judgment, like I this is not proportional or something. And I'm like, oh, like I don't like I'm just experimenting. Like for me, the most important is a process. So I'm not really attach myself to the end product, which liberates me in some sense. So
Yeah. So, what got you interested in how did you? So, what was your journey from sort of this doodling and maybe painting and drawing? How did you come to be engaged with and intrigued by the process of doll making?
but doll making, yeah, that was the funny one because I kind of came across with one artist that she was promoting some kind of school, and I saw her dolls, and for some reason, like just the image and the symbol of those dolls, I had some crazy sensation in my body and emotional kind of response, which really struck me. I didn't really know what was going on, and I just kind of had had that deep knowing like I need to go this path and explore more deeply. So I did. That was my kind of initiation in a sense. I am not anymore in a relationship with that artist, but then like she had a significant kind of place in my life because she ignites something in me. But then it was interesting that on her workshops I actually came across with my like mentor Barb. The some of the artists like promote no not promote but like mentioned the book The Healing Doorway, and when I saw the book, I was like, "Oh my God, this is it! This is something that is really calling me." So straight away, I started like the program with this artist Barb. She's a founder of the like she has a book The Healing Doorway, and she has a programs like she's a teacher artist like I don't know. I only have like deep words and of respect. Like she's an amazing mentor for myself, and I went on a journey. The program is very much based like going through the different archetypes and going through a very deep process. And Barb, the way how she guides the process is basically really allowing you to explore your own way, your own symbols. Like she doesn't impose certain way how to do things. She said, whatever feels right for you, just go for it. So just kind of deep listening, what wants to kind of emerge, and of course journaling and like questioning and yeah. So yeah.
So I'm going to just share, and I think as the way that I prepared this slideshow, I feel like I am moving from the end to the beginning. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how it goes. And we're going to talk about the process of doll making through these visuals for a moment. So let me just Okay, so this was the first page that I had the first slide that I had decided to share because yeah, I felt like it sort of is showing the doll that you ended up with, and then sort of a written relationship between you and the doll. So, can you explain the journal page and how it is expressing the doll here, and talk a little bit about the doll?
Like with this though, what is interesting, it is kind of like the end in a sense. Yeah. With this though, the topic, the concept was like love and kindness, like that we kind of experience in ourselves, like just to kind of have an image or representation and just explore what this is for myself. And with this image, something came up like to me that was like from my childhood. So there was a song. My mom is from Poland, so there is a Polish song. The like the duck. It's funny duck, like it's quirky duck, and it's very funny. This is something that my mom was reading to me, and there is like songs about that duck. It's the duck is just kind of. Um, I don't know, like she just doesn't go by the rules. She's just crazy. She's just herself. She's just very authentic, and like she does very crazy things. I don't know, using like fork like to brush her hair. That kind of like madness. So
Yeah.
I always like associate like with this duck. Like she always brings me a lot of joy, and like together as well with my mom because she was reading to me. And when I brought this up like to my mom, and we were both kind of like laughing, and like really the energy was just going, something remembering from that time. So it was like kind of
Hmm.
a capsule, time travel capsule, like from that time with that energy. So I was like for my personality, I identified like with that dog, and she had that kind of essence, and she's very loving and kind of, you know, very joyful. So the yellow color, like it's my favorite color, and that the big heart. So it was like all that like captured in this doll. But then my mentor, when I was kind of like describing this, and there is actually a story behind it, she said that sometimes the dolls they transform. This was like love and kindness doll, but she said it's basically it is your talisman. So that brings instantly that energy. And she has as well some kind of noise that I kind of put. I put some bells. So I don't know if you can hear
Yeah, I
this.
can't hear it.
You can hear it? No?
No,
Okay. Yeah, she has bells. So yeah, there is that kind of activation of that energy as well. So yeah, it it
I think
it
it's
it it's very special for me.
I think it's really wonderful hearing the story of how your mother responded to the doll, because there's something about, I mean, you were connecting to this time, as your mother as a younger mother and you as a young child, but also at the same time, you're connecting to that story for mothers and daughters, like beyond. And there's something about dolls, at least in my recent experience. I've never really been so interested in dolls until recently, but there's something about dolls that they carry so many different worlds at once. And I really think this is just so beautiful. I love that shared moment with your mom. um, I just want to go to the next slide. So we're going to go into, with the next photo, a little bit more about the process of making this doll. So can you speak not just only on like the practical way that you're creating a doll, like a little bit instructionally, but also the emotional process that you're going through as this doll develops?
This though, she holds actually a lot of joy and a lot of very kind of good memories. So I had like for me it was that this was the first kind of project that I used loads of wires. So that was a little bit difficult and challenging, but because the I don't know, emotions were very strong, like positive one. I really wanted to complete this doll, so I was just keep going and have this urge to make her. Despite that was very difficult because I was just improvising. I never really made such a like posture, like the posture of the doll, and there is I was just experimenting. I was just exploring everything. So each part was a journey for me, and as well to kind of overcome the difficulties and the unpleasant sensations in my hand. So yeah.
That's really interesting because the I've tried to do wire work like this and I really don't have the patience for it. Although I think that I could develop the patience for it, but when you're describing the feeling of this doll, which is joy and play, and then the physical way that you're making the doll, you really are holding the tensions between two opposites of, this emotional joy that's coming up, but also this is frustrating working like this, even if you want to do it, but it's still just like it hurts your hands, you poke yourself. It's so that I love that this process sort of represents this tension between two spaces.
Yeah, it is. And especially particularly for this doll, I wanted her like to be very round, so to have that fullness, because this for me it symbolized some nurturing, like I don't know. I always had very good feelings with the ladies who are a little bit like bigger, and I don't know, they give me this kind of motherly kind of emotions, like nurturing, loving. So I just wanted her like to be a little bit big.
Well, and she's
But
ready to hug. She looks like she's calling you
yeah,
into
yeah,
her wings. Yeah, it's
yeah.
really so wonderful. I love the energy of this doll. And then how did you so I've never done this process before. I know you're doing the felting, but with the colors, do you just use different color felts?
Yeah, like the base was just white wool, but then I had
Wool.
different kind of color of the wool, and I was just yeah, this is as well. Actually this part is very enjoyable because they are saying you're releasing as well some little tensions from your body
Yeah.
when you poking, like yeah. So because this really takes a lot of time. uh Obviously this needle felted doll, she's not full of the walls, so like inside there is an empty space, and with this doll, usually when I create a doll, I put a little bundle or like medicine bundle where I sit with the intention and symbols and like some medicine herbs that they have special meaning for me. So I know that I was in that space. So every time when I hold my doll, she actually invokes those kind of emotions and give me this energy as well. I
Mhm.
can connect with that inside of me. So yeah.
Okay, this is so wonderful. All right, let's go to the next slide. So I just have to say that I love the hands of all of your dolls feel so receptive to me. The dolls of yours that I have seen. This openness in the palms. But I love this doll so much. And I would love to hear about the story of this doll and also just you just spoke a little bit about the medicine bundles, but I'd like to speak on your ritual of going in.
Hmm. uh, when I sit down to create, there is ritual. This is another artist, Joanna, that I learned that every time when I going into this space to have some sensory or music, like I actually use like lavender kind of a little bag with smells. So this kind of sets me for the like now it's time that I kind of sit down and start to create. Sometimes I put some music, but then the smell is just kind of first tone that sets me into this creative mood. So that's one of my thing. And about this doll, I want to say this is actually my first doll that I ever created. That there was a certain way that that first artist, she had this kind of cone dolls, but for some reason I didn't want to go with that. And this doll, what like she already started speaking to me, and I started with the concept like of shadow doll. So all those parts that or wounds that you have that you carry. So like she was holding all of that, but then in the same way transforming that pain into something beautiful because she has all this green kind of thing, like from those wounds is actually something growing. So like something has to go to the ground and start to be transmuted into something alive. So, and then the same with the hands. For some reason, I didn't know how to make them, but I had a very strong urge. I wanted to have them. So they were very important. And as well, legs and those anchors. There is like loads of symbols on this doll that they represent something for me. The anchor is just to be grounded because as an artist, like yeah, I tend to be in this spiritual world of
Yeah,
ideas. So
floating.
this is something, yeah, to kind of ground me and be present. So and yeah, so, and the horns, this is as well a representation of some wild part of me that is like more close to the nature. And very often use chevron. For me, that's like a vessel. It's just the dolls for me, they're like a vessel. So all my like emotions, like they hold something all some parts of me they're actually holders of those parts.
So when you are doing a writing process with your work, are you engaging in conversation? How do you think about the journaling process? Is it something that you do before, after, during? Is it a conversation? How does it present to you when you are like doing the process that's on the left side of my screen? It might be on the right side of your screen and the doll.
Yeah, this was some part that I actually did with my mentor, where she we were kind of exploring the parts like the inner healer, and then intuitive parts, and then the part that is in exile. So just like those three, they're actually interconnected, and how to kind of like to create those images that you can connect, that when you notice them, so that you know from where they're actually those voices are coming. The one is intuition, the one is that the healer, something that you just know. It's really hard to explain, and the judgmental part that is always like the background noise that is actually distraction, yeah, distraction and yeah, noise that is preventing you to be very in peace inside yourself.
So when
If this
you are,
kind of explains,
yeah.
uh, and with each part depends, like when something draws my attention, some symbol or color or word. So I sit down and explore what this does mean, and just explore how this really in my personal life resonate. Depends whatever is going on right now, and sometimes gives me clues. So it's really wonderful process. And what is very interesting, sometimes when you go back to some old journals, and it's very interesting that certain patterns there, they are like there, and maybe certain drawings that you completely forgot, but then somehow they find the way they're again here. So that they wanted to really be visible and to be manifested in the real life.
Yeah. So as you're going through this process, how do you know? So do you feel like the moment you start a doll that you are already in relationship when do you feel like the doll begins to sort of speak to you? Is it before or during, or does it vary?
Uh, it depends. Sometimes I just, yeah, sometimes it's very, I don't really plan. I just kind of feel some urge and I just sit down, and it's crazy how quickly I create something and I don't really put much th thought into it. Is the ones I created the doll that I was very low at the time, but like when I was in a space, something, I don't know, I very quickly created her, and then she gives me a lot of energy, that like she really energized me. So like, I don't know, she come up like just here like to remind me, like, you have energy, you have life, you just, come back to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes with some dolls, it's a process. Depends what kind of, is it emotion, or is it some concept or archetype that I'm kind of creating? Yeah, it's always very different. I remember once, yeah, this one I actually had like with my other doll makers, we said like we're gonna create the Morrigan doll. And oh my God, yeah, this doll was very powerful the whole evening. And like, yeah, it was like loads of events that were like happening before we connected and be in the workshop. That was like just crazy, because the Morrigan doll, that's the archetype of the birth, death, and rebirth. So yeah, and that was, I think that was in February. So that was that kind of liminal kind of space between, from the winter and going into the spring. So something was like kind of dying, but then something was like getting, coming to be birthed. So it
So
was
it's
very
amazing
interesting.
when you show your dolls, like when you just showed that doll, I have like a bodily response to that doll. It's like an ancestor or somebody's walked into a room that I don't know what side of the family they're from or where they're from, but I know that I'm having this kind of connection to the doll. And I know that you've done doll making in community a lot, in person community. So how does it feel? Have you ever created somebody else's doll, do you think? When you've been in community, have you ever felt like, or the presence of the collective inside of one of your dolls, or do you feel like each one is your personal birthing process?
Like loads of those that are like my personal process, but I had a drawing of the Weaver doll that I want to create, and this one is it's more as a collective. So when I was just thinking how she should look like, I actually had a drawing of her. I'm not sure if it's here. I don't know. Did I share that? Hmm. Yeah, there she is. So I had this kind of image that
Oh,
when I was
mhm.
just thinking about like how this doll should look like. So in some stage, but this one was like more kind of collective, and for me has to do something with the nature, because nature is that I find that like through the nature we are all interconnected, and with the weavers, so all those materials as well, like organic ones, they come from nature. So this is something that is, yeah, in some stage I will be creating as a kind of collective doll that I don't know, probably artists and weavers, they can like connect with her.
Well, it's also interesting that it feels like for me that when a doll is created, and I haven't created a lot of dolls, but it does feel personal and collective. And then as you share the dolls, or just as the dolls live in the outside world, for me, I would think that then they start to develop their own lives. The dolls actually have a relationship outside of you, which if you've been, I mean, my biggest experience with this is when I'm in analysis and I'm with my sand, all the sand play figurines are around me. And I feel like the world is witnessing me in the most
Mm.
comforting way, not in a judgmental way. It just feels like we're all sitting here with you. So as you live with your dolls and you have children that are around your dolls, you have a family that's around your dolls all the time. Do you notice them? How do they evolve?
My dolls, they like they had their own kind of journey when I started holding spaces like workshops. They were my like they assist me. They support me to they hold space with me. I don't know. It for me that it's a kind of extension part of me that they're like even kind of like extending my hands like through them to hold the space. And so far, my participants in the workshops, they just I had a great feedback that they're really they were feeling very safe and guided, and they really enjoy the process being in these spaces. So I don't know if this answer, but then my own family is just a little bit not really comfortable with my dolls. I think because they're like very powerful. So yeah, depends on what kind of setting you have. So yeah, they can be very, I don't know, because maybe they come up like from very deep my personal process. Maybe that's why they can be a little bit maybe for someone like too much, or maybe they can evoke, but this is all projection. So it doesn't have anything to do with me. And I know that, but yeah.
It's really interesting to think about that because I don't think necessarily that people think that way when they are around the art of men. I really feel like when you have a woman expressing themselves creatively, showing the deep inner world, inner power, inner self, it's just sort of people's reaction is evidence of how much we've been squashed into boxes for so long. And that's why the dolls, I think, are so powerful because even though they carry a lot of energy, they do sometimes invite you to engage. Like the right doll is going to call you to engage with them, right? So
Oh
for
yeah.
some people, the duck might be a lot more palatable, right, for people than your Baba Yaga doll, which is just like, wow, that's a doll. It's very, very
Yeah, it's
powerful.
just like, oh,
It's right in your face. Yeah. So I want
yeah,
to show a
yeah.
little bit more of your work here. I want to go to this page right here. Let's see. Oops, let me go back one. Oops, hold on. Well, this just came up for a reason. This wasn't the slide that I was going to show, but because Baba Yaga just said I heard my name, so I'm going to be right here. So, so let's talk about this incredibly powerful doll. This is probably one of my very favorite dolls of yours. And this is such a powerful image of you with her. So can you talk a bit about this process? I'd love to hear about this.
Mm, this Baba Yaga, because I already kind of endure on the journey with this doll, but that was my first, and I wouldn't say that that was like very deep process. So, for a long time, I was like working like with the shadow parts of me, the parts that they're disowned, that they're exiled, that I'm very much ashamed, that I'm not really proud of. So I was just bringing on the surface all those parts of me and really facing them, writing down, and really having a lot of very deep emotions. And when I started creating this Baba Yaga, I'm very surprised that she actually came very fast and was, yeah, it was just crazy because some doll makers when they work with this concept, it's not, it's very deep process. Yeah, you really need support sometimes as well, working with your therapist, and it's not harmless, I would say. So you really need to have support. Loads of people, they have some trauma and different things, so you can touch on this. But I sense that, okay, on my personal life, I was like encountering a lot of those unpleasant exile parts, but then there was something much more deeper as well, that I connected with the ancestral kind of rage, anger, and especially on the female line, because this Baba Yaga, just the expression, and that was something that I was for a long time as well. Like I fear that part of me, that, yeah, the witchy kind of part,
Yeah.
that was very scary for me, and like devilish, that is not accepted like in the society. So that was a very, very deep process. And yeah, she screams, she has horns. So as well, this kind of wild part of me that was not really much alive. Like, yeah, it wasn't that visible. But when I started kind of uh, integrating those parts, so I become to be more confident, more grounded, more I don't know, accepting myself the way as I am.
Yes.
So with all bad, good, doesn't matter, all those parts, that's me, black and white all together. So there is nothing, to be exiled anymore. And she represents that. So
This
yeah.
is so wonderful because I have that similar experience of doing art around a dream or doing art around something that feels very dark inside. And it is scary to express those things, and it's scary to share those things out into the world. But the liberation of you expressing it artistically, and nobody dies,
Yeah,
everything's
but that's
fine.
another thing. That's another thing. The moment I started sharing this doll, and especially with other doll makers, I think that I invited them into the space, because they started saying, "Oh my God, this is so brave," and like they could really resonate with those parts, and sharing with me that they have as well dolls like that they are very ugly, they're horrible, that they're like not really having a good relationship with them. So I think that I kind of initiate something in them to start the conversation about
Yeah.
those little parts. So yeah.
Right. It's so we're doing collective healing. It's
Mm.
really, really powerful. And I just love this Baba Yaga doll so much. I'm trying to get back to this one slide here. Okay. So this is the recent project that you're doing right now, right? Is that right? I feel like I've seen this one doll head on the
Those
left. I
little, oh
feel,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I started, I think summertime I started. This is another pale rock artist, Joanna. So I started with her, like learning from her, because I always kind of got drawn as well to the stitching kind of like field dolls, but I was never, I don't know, I kind of afraid that there was something, some part of me like I don't know how to do this. But then one day I was just, before even I started this workshop, I actually knew how to do it. So I
Yeah.
don't know from where this came from. So
Right.
then I started making those stuffed dolls. So they have like little parts. They're like, it's just kind of building them. So this teacher as well, what I learned from her to kind of get more in and engage with our surrounding, to have full focus, and to start exploring those parts, what is around us, and as well documenting things, and making some photographs every day, something that draw our attention, and just looking into nature, the shapes, and they have some story. So as you kind of go through like your slides and like photos, so then you choose one that is kind of calling you, and then you start working with those parts and start like slowly building up like the like what does it remind you? Is it old? Is it young? Is it, you know, is it a female? Is it a male? And what they're doing, and then you start kind of building up the character, and with that you start then, yeah, putting like different parts, different
Yeah.
materials, and yeah, it just, I don't know, it's very difficult to explain it because this is happening in a moment. So as you start to have conversation with those little parts around you and materials, or I don't know, like some stick, or yeah.
So when I just want to go back to what you were saying about the emotional process of making dolls. So in your own process, and I'm asking this, selfishly, because I do have my own experience of when sometimes I'm doing a piece of work that's very emotional. Sometimes I don't know when to keep walking through or to put something to the side. So, for me personally, I've developed a little bit of a ritual. When I put something aside, I make sure that I put it aside in a way like I might put it in a box with blankets, or I might put it in, where I feel like I'm kind of cocooning the work still, even though I have to put it aside. So, do you have any kind of ritual around, a doll that you might not feel like carrying through on? How do you tend to that doll? Or do you? Do you just like shove it to the side and decide next time? Or do you have a ritual of caring for work that's in process?
Mm, not really, but what I tend, as you mentioned, that sometimes like, yeah, some when you're processing some difficult emotions, what I learned as well from Barb, it's very important to have guardian doll, because guardian doll, she's there. She's a kind of the voice of conscious, when you overdo something, she's one to tell you like, okay, like come back, look after yourself, like make break, eat, have a walk, because this can really exhaust you, because like working with dolls is an archetype. It can kind of consume you,
Yeah.
consume you. What's the
Consume you.
name?
Yeah.
Consume you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you have to be very careful with that. So yeah, one of the dolls that I created, there was like another concept that like guardian doll. So that's my guardian. She is a keeper that when I like overdo, like she's that voice that reminds me like to slow down. Like it's inside me, but like the her image, it just tells me that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this resonates, but like yeah. So she has that role to put me on track, and she knows what she's always there for my best interest. Yeah.
As you're speaking, I keep thinking about internal family systems.
Hmm.
And there can be a relationship between this process and internal family
Oh
systems.
no, definitely, definitely, because those they are some voices that like, we just kind of in our own way we give them certain image. But yeah, those voices they really influence like how we act and how we behave. So I find them very useful. So
So before we talk a little bit about the workshops that you offer, I just want to share this one last piece that I have in this slide, which is this one. So I know this was a newer process for you. Can you talk a little bit about this?
this was something that my friend, like wild sister, She created those goddesses, clay goddesses, and she put some YouTube video on the online, and I just really resonated with this, and I just got an urge as well. I wanted to try to create the little goddess of me that kind of represent, that has a vessel, that she's like full of feminine kind of round parts.
Yeah.
So I just created her, and that was my first time. So I'm never afraid to try new things. Doesn't matter if I don't know if they're proportional or not. I just had some kind of guidance like through that video, and I was just trusting my hands to create this little goddess that is just wonderful. I don't know. I just love her.
Yeah, I love her too. And I loved you had set I think it was you had set like a sacred table. And I think you were having maybe it was for Brigid.
Saint
Can't remember
Bridget,
what it
yeah,
was
yeah.
for. Yeah, Bridget. Yeah. And I was just, I loved seeing that you display your
Oh
work
yeah,
and that
yeah,
you
yeah. That
interact
was the
with your work.
Christmas. Yeah, the
Yeah, it was
Christmas
Christmas. That's
Eve.
what
Oh
it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm now
It was
yeah
just so
remembering.
wonderful to see. I love that you are interacting with everything that you're doing and putting it out there. It's just so wonderful to see you enjoying your own work. And really, that means that you're enjoying your own self, which is just really beautiful. And for
Thank
those
you.
of us who I'm dying to do a workshop with you. But I'd like you to speak a little bit about how you workshop, what your message is to people that might be interested in working with dolls, and then just for everybody watching, when we have the end of this video, there's going to be a way that you can reach out to Katarina if you're interested in getting on her mailing list or connecting through Instagram. So if you want to learn about her process privately, you'll have a way to reach out to her. But can you talk a little bit about your wish for people and how you work with people in terms of doll making?
I just wish for people to let go of any expectation how things they supposed to look like, because this is the first barrier like to keep us going. And another thing, the way how I organize the workshop, I just give a little push, like I just small like guidance, like just to show how to build a body, but then the rest, I really allow participants to go on their own kind of journey to explore things that they speak to them, and create the doll that is like very meaningful and very authentic. Last time I had in January, I had a workshop that was just a trial, just to see how people will react, and that was like creating a paper doll from materials that we actually have at home, those paper bags. So that is nothing that you need to kind of spend money. And yeah, that was a very enjoyable process. Lots of participants, they told me that they discovered certain parts of them that they were like surprised what come up. So I was like the workshop that brought a lot of surprises that during that process. So it's very pleasant. Of course, I have ways that depends how I'm gonna guide. Like we can go with some archetypes, we can go deeper work, but then those ones that I was creating that was more kind of playful, just explore like simple exploration for the first time to kind of get familiar with this way of making dolls.
Okay, great. So, I am so grateful that you joined me today in this talk.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna,
much for
in a
this
moment,
opportunity. I really enjoyed
yeah,
the
I
conversation.
really enjoyed speaking with you too. And I'm sure that everybody is going to be so excited by this talk because I feel more excited and I was already excited.